Good morning. My name's Vanessa Clark, and welcome to Tilda's Week at So Original. Today, I want to show you about the Hometown Quilt by Tilda. This is a beautiful quilt, and all these fabrics are waiting for you at So Original. I wanted to make this quilt, and it is rated difficult. But with the help of the educators at So Original and this video, I'm going to show you my tips and tricks on how to make this quilt that you'll be able to do on your own. This pattern is free at tildasworld.com, and it is about 21 pages. And I think that's one of the reasons that it might be listed as difficult. If by chance that you have made a quilt at least once, I think that you'll be able to do this if you're guided through maybe this video, or Patty Blanton at the store will be able to give you some assistance in doing this quilt. And let me just say this, don't let the difficulty intimidate you, because as quilters, we always want to learn and grow. So in this video, I'm going to go through the steps of making the blocks. The blocks, another reason why I believe that it may be listed as difficult, is you will see that these blocks right here are made on point. There's about 32 blocks, but you will be cutting off some of your work to square it off. The other thing that I believe that makes this quilt a little difficult is the cutting instructions. In the center right here, these are fussy cut and they are turned on point. And so our cutting directions need to be exact. In previous emails, you've seen where I've made sure that my fabric's pressed. I always use that grippy spray on the back of the rulers. And let me tell you, are you really serious? One of the cuts is 2 inches and 1/8. Now we're all used to 2.5, 2 1/4, but now we have to be real exact and cut 2 1/8. So I think that might be one of the reasons why we're listed as difficult. So let's begin, and I will show you the block. Okay, I want to show you my completed block. In the instructions, they say make a test block. So this is my test block. I also want you to notice and observe how this has been fussy cutted, meaning that this motif right here, this picture, is centered right in the middle of a 4.5 inch square turned on point. Look how nicely all my points match up. And this is the reason why you take your time and cut accurately. The other thing that I observed when I was making this, and it didn't tell me this in the instructions about this block right here. I wondered whether I should cut it like with the fabric, but when I took a closer look at the picture, I noticed that this is called Hometown fabric right here. These little houses were kind of made on point. So I decided, what should I do? So I went ahead and I made them like they would be stand up, because otherwise when I would turn my block, it would look like this. And I really wanted those little houses, if you saw them in the square, to be the correct way. So that is one of my 30-some blocks that I will be making. And this is the block 1, and then there's block 2 that has a blue background right here. In doing my piecing, there's two of my favorite presser feet that I want to talk about. If you own a Bernina, this usually doesn't come in the in your accessory package, but it is really the one that I replace the C1. It is D34D, the dual feed. It's where the dual feed on top comes down and hooks in the back. I love this because of the clear foot. You will also notice that there is a red line that's where your needle is going to line up with, right there in the center. And so if I need to be, and I'm going to show you later why I really love this foot. This is probably the only piece of plastic that's ever found in a Bernina. And I've only replaced the plastic right here one time in 10 years. So, you know, just the plastic, really? That's okay, because I love, love, love this presser foot. Again, that is 34D. The other one is the presser foot 57D. Once again, dual feed right there in the back. And this is for your piecing to measure your 1/4 inch seam. You've got this place right here where your fabric's going to meet up there. Right in the center is going to be a perfect 1/4 inch. And that's what you need in piecing is your 1/4 inch seam. If you have another machine, another brand, I highly recommend finding exactly where that 1/4 inch seam is, and you can place some washi tape or painter's tape to mark so your fabric stays right on the edge of that tape as your guide, and you'll have a perfect 1/4 inch seam. And all these seams are important because as you put your pieces together, you want all your points to match. Hey, we want to do our best. And so these are helpful tips right there. For this main block, we have 4 flying geese right here. And I'm going to insert a picture of where my needle placement is in making a flying geese. Flying geese is used in almost every quilt. And so if you are a beginner, this is a good quilt to learn how to do those flying geese. So you have this main red fabric right there. We're going to draw a line with our favorite marking pencil. It can be an air eraser pencil, pen, it can be friction, it can be a pencil that's sharp, anything that you're going to see a line and you're going to stitch on this. And I'm going to insert a picture where you place your needle and where you're stitching to follow that line. Okay, for our flying geese, you'll notice that you see the marking line and that my stitch line is right to my left of it, so that when you turn this back and you fold it, you want this to be folded so that you cannot see the back side of this. If you see this part showing, your unit will be a little small. And so you want to double check that before you go ahead and cut your 1/4 of an inch from this line to fold over, just like I did over here. See how that is? And by the way, the thread that I'm using for this project, for this quilt, is Aurifil number 1103. It's really beautiful. Normally, I use just a basic white or off-white for my piecing, but this quilt is so predominantly red that I chose to go ahead and piece this in the Aurifil red that we have here. That color is, again, 1103. Next, we are going to be making the sashing for this, and we have this right here. There is 4 colorways of this unit right here. And this is probably a little challenging. There's good directions, but getting my stitch line going in the right direction, I ripped out a little bit trying to get this just perfect. One thing is when you're making these units, as far as pressing, I don't take it to the iron. I just kind of finger press it. And because I like, whenever we make our corners, you want to nest one seam line to another. These are the 4 different color ways of sashing. And then here in the directions, you have some really good directions as far as how to piece this unit. But getting that to go the way I wanted it to go, that's why you make a practice block. And then once you get it down, then you can speed on ahead, do some chain piecing of some of the units. You'll see here how that was all coming together. You know, when you chain piece, you always follow up with a starter, or some people call it a leader, and then that gets you started. Then you slide your piece underneath there, and then if you're going to do the same thing over and over again multiple times, that's chain piecing. And so once you've made one, you pretty much know what you're doing, and you're not ripping out multiple things. And so that's really helpful. Is there anything else? There's some squares that will be going along into the sashing as we start to assemble our quilt, and I will probably follow up on another video as I put this down. You know, I was hoping I was going to get this whole thing done for Tilda week. Ha! Best laid plans. Sometimes they don't happen. But anyway, they've got great diagrams here. You'll see all your blocks right here. And then you can see where once they all go together, we're all going, some of those block ends will be cut. See these blocks right here? You're going to lose these corners right here. So, but that's the reason. I mean, we're going to waste some fabric there, but it's because those blocks are going to go on point, which really, really, really makes a beautiful quilt. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave your comments. If I can help you in any way, I'll be glad to answer your questions. So we'll see you in a little bit.